You're a child who wants to pursue a career in music, but your dreams and hopes are dashed simply because your parents thought that an optional subject was too casual. Why is there not an adequate focus on these activities in the status quo? Two reasons. Firstly, because everything is academics oriented, learn science, learn maths, whatever. But secondly, because people see an optional subject as not being serious enough to warrant serious attention. So, what are the harms for this? Firstly, the education system sends out two very harmful messages. A, there's no appreciation for anything which cannot be quantified in a percentage mark. There's no appreciation for the subjectivities and subtleties of art, music, or sports. But B, there's no focus on the physical, mental, or spiritual well being of a child. And note that these things are uniquely achieved through arts, music, and sports. But secondly, and more importantly, the option of pursuing such a career is now gone because often school is your first platform to discover such talents, right? And as a result, the child's development is
Turncoat.
harmed. Okay,
Turncoat.
turning my coat in three, two, one, go. Imagine you're a talented painter who uses art in order to relieve himself of the stress of regular school. All of a sudden, art is made compulsory, and you now face the same deadlines and the same pressure that you did in all other school subjects, right? We need to realize that in the current schooling system, everything is results oriented. Everything is focused on deadlines and assignments and submission and whatnot, right? So, what are the harms of making arts, music, and sport compulsory? Firstly, you're forced to meet deadlines, right? Because that's what making something compulsory means. So, what this does is two things. A, for those who are interested or good at these things, it makes the subject less engaging for them because they see something as being forced upon them. But B, those who are not good at these subjects now struggle or lose interest entirely. But secondly, there's now an excessive burden, especially on those who are not good at these fields, to perform, right? But thirdly, there's now a lack of exploration and choice, which A leads to a lack of interest in subject, but B harms children's development overall.
Stereotype that becoming a sports person, musician, or becoming an artist is a waste of time and instead studies is the only acceptable profession is slowly burning away. But does that mean that they have acquired an equal status in the generally accepted path of education? If they had an equal standing, why is it not a compulsory part of a curriculum like maths and science are? Why is it that schools endorse and support competition, events, etc. related to subjects that we get taught, but are reluctant to do the same with sports? Let me tell you this, my fellow audience, unless and until sports, arts, and music turn from being extracurriculars to being part of the curriculum, they will never be recognized and accepted equally. This is the bigger picture. These extracurriculars provide us with a mountain's worth of benefits. Sports helps us keep physically fit and healthy, while music and arts draw the creative part of our brain, which are essential in ensuring that we don't turn into robots. It gives us an opportunity. It gives the opportunity to all those who really want to pursue careers in these fields to freely develop their practice without any worries or school pressures. In these difficult times of the pandemic, if they were part of the curriculum, online
Turncoat.
schooling would be more
Turncoat.
diverse. But is it really advantageous? The reality is that only a very few students really are going to be successful in pursuing careers in these fields, those who really have it within them. Studies and education enables all people to earn as part of the economic cog, but sports, music, and arts does not work with the same law of averages. Students dream about pursuing them, but do not put in the right effort to achieve it. It also leads to them diverting their focus, which ends up with them landing up in no man's land. There is something even more crucial. Whenever something is made compulsory, whenever something is imposed onto someone, especially children, their interest immediately drops. If they're forced to do something, it means from wanting to do it, their attitude will transform to compelled to do it. What is its use then? It will just become another subject that they have no interest but have to learn. Look at our school. This was the first year that PE was offered as a subject for ninth. How many actually opted for it? One or two. And how many are doing it? Zero. People may have a natural flair for PE or arts, but putting them into curriculum may or may not mean that they are actually going to join it. The school
The dictionary definition of a school is an institution for educating children. Is education only limited to math, science, and languages? Aren't co curricular activities just as important as academics? That too, when so many people can make a career from it? As students, which period are we most excited for? Sports. Which period do we think is finally enjoyable after having to sit and bury our heads in textbooks all day? Music and arts. Studies have shown that children who practice some form of art are also more likely to excel in their academics. So it isn't just about enjoyment, it's also about the development of one's brain, the development which may be hindered if students take their co curricular activities lightly. It, In school, where children at least spend a good 7 hours of their day, at least there they should be able to explore different fields and subjects. Until they don't try learning all of the activities, how will they decide which suits them best? Sports leads to great improvement in health, keeps you active and energized. Music and art teach you to view the world from a different perspective altogether.
Stop. Turncoat. Turncoat.
2 minutes left for class, and while the teacher is still trying to cover an important topic, the students are just looking at their watches, waiting for the bell to ring so they can go to the field. And what happens in the field? Some do play, some sit idle, and some bunk the whole period altogether. So, when a student is not interested in a certain subject or activity, why should they waste a good 40 minutes that they could have used to study and improve in a subject of their liking? Even if we are young, students are still mature humans who deserve the freedom to choose according to their likes and dislikes. Making music, sports, and arts compulsory can be a distraction to students who might want to focus on one of these activities or some other subject altogether. After a certain age, we even choose if we want to study math, physics, or history, etc. So why should sports, music, or art be an exception? Most students will have already explored different fields outside school, and many might also be learning them professionally. So why should they waste a whole period in school doing something they anyway do an hour after school? From what I have observed, I can surely say
Stop.
The issue with the education system is that it expects us to follow a single set out path for us, the path of academics. By placing subjects like the arts as optional, we're deeming them inconsequential in comparison with a set path of math or science. This not only causes students who want to make a career in art skeptical and degrades them, but also causes the others to miss out on the necessary experiences and skills that are offered by the art. And this is not growth. What is the main aim of an institution? Cultivating world leaders, preparing the students for the quote real world. If a school wants to cultivate future leaders, they need to instill within them real world skills. Learning an instrument teaches students perseverance and dexterity. Making a simple drawing teaches them the importance of error and failure and learning from one's mistake. Sports teaches us teamwork, discipline, and concentration from just simple attention drills. These are all experiences that build up our character and they are necessary. Even if this is not our chosen path, it is necessary for us
Stop.
to have.
Stop. Turncoat.
On the other hand, however, students have a right to choice. 3/4 of students choose the academic path rather than that of arts. Thus, majority of students believe using their time on art is waste and they would grow lethargic. The point of schooling and what it leads up to in universities is specialization. That is why we have an option to narrow down our choices in 9th and 11th. Making arts optional does exactly this. The problem is there isn't much to fall back on in arts. There's a reason the main push on education right now is STEM subjects, because there are simply more jobs there. Even if you do not become a successful engineer, you always have a fallback option as an office desk job. But with the arts, the probability of success is even lesser, and there are almost zero fallback options. My opponents would argue that the point of schooling is preparing students for the real world, and pushing STEM subjects does exactly that, because it is realistic. Therefore, through my points, I've explained why this side of the debate lies on the